Hi everybody, I thought I would do a video blog post this week rather than a written one just to shake it up a little bit. So, comfort zone of writing. Now it's a little on the outside of my comfort zone with video. Actually, that's not really true. I love actually being on video. Do have to fix this dot though. I gotta work on it. See that dot? That's not really very good. Anyway, here's a couple of thoughts I wanted to share this week, and it's a bit of a repeat. I don't think I wrote this in a blog. I've been sharing it so many different places. I don't know if I don't know where I've said it, but it's worth repeating. I've been repeating it a lot this week, and it seems to be helping. Here's the context. Let me set some context. This is about having people. I'm in the people development business, the leadership development business, the impact development business. This is about serving you, the viewer right now, individuals, and I share this with many teams these last couple of weeks in the corporate space, in the leadership development space. I did it on a call around some leadership support. Very simple idea, but it's about helping all of us navigate and be a bit more sort of conscious and more directive with all that's going on in the sea of tectonic plates that are shifting beneath us as we speak, which I'm not going to get into that whole huge topic, but have needed to shift. We all know this, right? So that's the setup here. So this is about being more intentional in one's day, rather than I'm sort of being bounced around by my circumstances of my day, right? That's a simple concept, but I'm going to give you 4 more specific places and spaces to create intentionally. And I use the word space on purpose because I really want you to think about this as an actual space that you go create in your house or your yard or your park near your house or wherever. I am not a feng shui trained person at all, but I know the power of a space when you grant a space some meaning and then you lean into it over and over again. It actually becomes a resonant source to support us. So this is about intentionally designing a space. And I've come up with 4 spaces to create in your life that you go to hopefully every day and visit them at least once, maybe twice, and you'll see why. The first space I'm naming them, I've given them all names. The first one is called the human mess space. This is the place where I just get to be all messed up. I'm having a meltdown. It's like the meltdown space. I can't stand this anymore. Complaining, it's overwhelming. I can't stand it anymore, etc., etc., etc. The human mess space, right? Find that space in your house or your yard, or maybe it's a walk, whatever it is, but and maybe it's a particular area that you go to and you assign this area that job. And when you go to it, this is the place I'm going to be a human mess. So it's somewhat, it's about being more responsible with it, right? The second space I'm simply calling the grounded space. This is that space in your house, your yard, a park, or maybe it's a place you go for a walk in nature or not, wherever it is, where you assign this space the idea that you feel grounded, you feel one with a spiritual belief, with the universe, whatever language you want to use. This is the space where you feel, it will be okay in the midst of all the chaos. Many of us already have those handled in our homes. But it's an intentional space that when you go to this space and I just drop in, I'm like, okay, this is the place where I feel grounded. And you go there as needed. I would make a suggestion. You don't go there when it's like, it's like you all of a sudden you need it. You go there daily. It's like a spiritual practice. You go there daily as a ritual. So that's the second space. First space is human mess space. Second space is the grounded space. The third space, my favorite one, to be honest, if I were to vote, I call it the creative space. This is the place where, and the space, where the most creativity comes to me. Now, I'm a workshop designer, I'm a public speaker, I'm an author. There are about 1,000 ideas coming to me all the time about what's the next thing to create. And only about 1%, by the way, become real, ever. That's a tip, by the way, for those of you that are in the creative space of personal development and life development and business development, and there's all these ideas. Just know that if you make 1% real, you're successful. But this is that intentional space where I feel the most creative. Ideas sort of flow in. I don't know how that works. I think it's fascinating, but I sort of, maybe it's from the grounded space. All of a sudden I feel one, I feel connected, and all of a sudden there's this download, right? They might overlap, these spaces, by the way, right? So that's the creative space. The fourth space is what I call the service space. Where do I feel most of service in my day? Now, this gets very literal. This might be I'm volunteering at a local food bank. It might be that I'm, volunteering somewhere in my community to help with what's going on, with all that's going on. Might not happen every day, right? For many of us, the service space happens in things like this. I'm making a video. This is me at my desk. My service space right now is mostly in front of my camera in the world of Zoom and video and that kind of thing. That's where when there's a person across from me, a client or a team or a group, by the way, have been a part of many large groups over the last couple of weeks. It's fascinating what can happen now in the land of Zoom. But as soon as there's a person over there, I feel of service. I don't know if it's serving. I always have to ask them if it's serving. But I certainly feel I'm in the space of service. So those are the four spaces to consciously put into your day, hopefully every day of the week. So it has us feel a little bit more in the driver's seat of all this that's going on. And it keeps us all, hopefully, it keeps us more in the leader self, versus the manager self that's trying to manage all the circumstances all the time. And that's one of my favorite distinctions is, the manager in me is trying to maintain and manage. Can you even see it in my body? It's like I'm trying to manage all that's going on. Some of it is not manageable, as we know, right? But the leader hat goes on and goes, okay, I'm going to be more intentional with my day. Where do I need to be a full human mess? That's the first space. Second space is where do I need to go to feel grounded? Third space is where do I feel the most creative? And the fourth space is where do I most feel of service? And I dare say, and this has been fascinating. This could sound like a line, like I'm making this up. But I've noticed when those four spaces have had an experience in my day, not the same amount of time necessarily, but somehow they've all had some space in my day, I sleep better. I really notice I am sleeping better. Rather than I have to be good, rather than I have to be positive, because you have the human mess space where I get to be a mess and have a meltdown and all that stuff. So, 4 spaces. I'm going to say it one more time. Human mess space, grounded space, creative space, and service space. Try that out for the next 5 days. See what happens. And let me know. And post below, how to post in these blog posts. If you have a comment, or maybe there's another space that I haven't thought of, I'd love to hear your ideas. Bounce off of this and see how this might activate something in you. Because what I'd love to do, by the way, is to not be a guru of something. I'd love to be a guide for a conversation. So let this be a something to bounce off of, and may it activate a conversation in yourself and in your life and with your people and your families and your loved ones, that we feel a bit more connected and more grounded and more creative. Because isn't that what we want, no matter what the circumstances are? So Thanks for listening. Sending you all peace, ease, health, and wealth in the midst of all this. So be well. Take care. Bye for now.